我明白基督徒要原諒傷害自己嘅人，唔計較佢哋嘅過犯。但每次我諗到，其實傷害我嘅人根本唔介意我係咪饒恕佢，點解我仲要強迫自己做對我咁唔公平嘅事呢？
Let's talk a little bit more about forgiveness and what we can expect when we are in the journey of forgiving. It's hard work, and it is not just an event. It is a process. Forgiveness is something that happens again and again. In the movie, there's a scene where Mackenzie, whose daughter has been murdered, has to deal with the issue of forgiving the perpetrator. And he says, I don't know how to do it. And Papa God says to him, just say it. Maybe you'll have to say it 1,000 times before it gets any easier. I forgive you. And say it specifically. And if you're really struggling, say it within community. Let other people be part of that. You know what this has meant sometimes is that there have been times in my life where someone has so hurt me, I don't know how to do this. And so with my friends, I have sat a chair in the middle that is empty. And in my imagination, the person who has hurt me now sits there. And I tell them what they have done. And I tell them how they have hurt me. And then I begin to specifically let them go. I know a woman who was in the military, was a medical nurse and flew in the helicopters in war zones. And she picked helicopters that would get shot at because she wanted to die. And the reason she wanted to die is when she was a little girl, she was abused by her father for years. Well, then she hears that her father is dying. And she happens to read a copy of The Shack, and the issue of forgiveness becomes really central. And so she thinks, this is my opportunity to forgive my father face to face. Well, she goes back to see him, and he is in a coma. And he doesn't come out of the coma. And she realizes he's not coming out. So she pulls a chair up next to his bed and begins to tell him, this is what you did to me. This is why I've never trusted a man. This is why I don't love myself. This is why, and goes through all the issues specifically. And then she goes back through them and says, I forgive you for this. I forgive you for this. Sometimes the person isn't there, but you still need to go through the process of letting them go. And I would encourage you to invite other people into that journey with you. We can't do these things alone. And it's not just a simple decision that makes everything okay. This is an ongoing process. But unforgiveness is like carrying a corpse on your back, and it poisons all of your relationships. Forgiveness is more for you, the one who needs to forgive, than it is even for the other person who hurt you. That person may not care. But for you to extend forgiveness is to do the work of God. It is to do what Jesus has done for the entire human race. And when he says, Father, forgive them, they don't know what they do. We can adopt that same heart and attitude. The people who hurt us, they didn't know what they were doing, not really. And we can extend the forgiveness that we have found in our relationship with Jesus to those who have hurt us.
如果你仍然唔能夠饒恕，想揾人傾訴，可以致電人生熱線81008012。如果你願意支持人生熱線，請致電31086012。奉獻500蚊或以上嘅朋友，可以獲贈作者親筆簽名小說《小屋》一本。奉獻1萬蚊或以上嘅朋友，更獲贈親筆簽名限量版 DIY PAPA 小屋及創世經典10架 USB。多謝大家。